Hey guys, this is Mike Murtis from Gamer Logic, and this is a video response to JasonRelaxation's Who Are Your Top 5 Favorite Wrestlers? You know, a little background on my history with wrestling. Pro wrestling is, I watched it as a kid, and my sister's boyfriend at the time was a big fan of it, so this was during the time like Macho Man and Ultimate Warrior, Hulk Hogan. And he used to watch, I don't think it was Monday Night Raw yet, I think it was just whatever they aired. It may have been Saturday night, I really don't remember. But we lost cable, and I lost track of wrestling, unfortunately. Until about 95, 96, my neighbor across the street actually watched WCW religiously. He didn't watch WWF because his parents thought it was a little too mature for him, so they wouldn't let him watch it. He was a younger kid than me. He was about my little brother's age, so he was about 4 or 5 years younger than me. But you know, he taped WCW stuff, and at the end of the month he would give us a couple tapes with WCW, Nitro, and Thunder, and we'd catch up in like 1 month of everything that was going on. It was really cool. But as such, I really like some of the smaller wrestlers, the more submission-based wrestlers, and my top 5 list kind of reflects that. Number 5 is CM Punk for me. Chicago zone. I'm from Chicago as well, so I watched a lot of his matches in IWA Mid-South, attended a couple training sessions with him, and he also was in Ring of Honor. We saw his Ring of Honor match, and just watching him talk at some of those training sessions he had before he was you know, a big superstar, this is really cool. And you know, he's got a lot of great moves. He's a small guy, but he moves fast. Really like his kicks. I like his straight edge gimmick. I think that's pretty cool. I don't like the straight edge society gimmick. I think that's a little drawn out. It reminds me a little too much of like Right to Censor back in the late 90s. I don't know if you guys remember that gimmick, but that one wasn't that good. But nevertheless, I really like CM Punk. He's great on the mic. He's great as a face. He's great as a heel. And has a lot of mixed moves there. Number 4 is Dean Malenko. Dean Malenko had so many awesome submission moves, and he was such a serious wrestler. Had a lot of great matches with Eddie Guerrero, Chris Jericho, Rey Mysterio. Back when WCW had their cruiserweight division, it was just awesome. You know, a lot of people like Rey Mysterio, but I've always preferred Dean Malenko. Number 3 is Bryan Danielson, or those of you who have never heard of him if you don't follow indie wrestling, Daniel Bryan, who was on NXT and just released from WWE recently. Just another guy who plays a great heel role, great on the mic, great submissions expert, really entertaining matches. Saw a lot of his matches in Ring of Honor. Just an all-around great wrestler. It's really a shame that WWE let him go. Hopefully they'll bring him back, because as far as technical wrestling goes, he is the next Dean Malenko, Chris Benoit, in a wrestling sense. Number 2 is he's actually be considered my first favorite now, but since we can't have 2 number 1s, and I'll explain why. Chris Jericho is another one. He's number 2 on my list. I mean, here's a guy who is great on the mic, is a great wrestler, can make almost anyone look good when he wrestles with them, and is just entirely entertaining. You know, I've always loved his role in WCW, Jericho-holic and Monday Night Jericho. You know, funny. The guy's funny on the mic. He knows how to entertain people, but he knows how to wrestle to boot. And then obviously he took a break a couple years ago, and he came back, and he completely reinvented himself as a heel. He's not a whiny heel. He plays his role as just this intelligent guy who, you know, gets himself in situations, but he knows how to insult you, but he can back it up. If you watch that recent match he had with Evan Bourne and with him and Chris Jericho, that match was phenomenal. And of course he's doing his little thing right now with the game show. It doesn't sound like it's going to last too long, but nevertheless, Chris Jericho, again, just excellent all-around wrestler. And finally, to get to my number 1. Now this one's going to be kind of controversial, and once I say the name you'll understand. My favorite all-time wrestler is Chris Benoit. And I know a lot of people, that may shock a lot of people because his name and what he did is kind of taboo. You know, he's kind of been wiped off the history books. But watching him in his WCW days, he was so intense, his moves were so awesome, his matches were so fluid, he had all his submission moves. He wasn't great on the mic, but you could tell he meant business, and he really loved what he did. And, I'll never forget coming home from work late and turning on Monday Night Raw and seeing that thing that he died. I was shocked, I was sad. And, the day after, we find out that he murdered his kid and his wife. It was disturbing. But, even if you read any of the wrestlers' books, a lot of the wrestlers say, that wasn't the Chris Benoit that everyone knew, and it is a shame that he did that to his family, and he did that to himself, whatever the reason was be, whether he, had brain damage or whatever. It's really, really unfortunate, and it's a sad way it really tarnished his legacy. But for what it's worth, when he was in the business, when he had his head on straight, he was a fantastic wrestler. So as taboo as it is, Chris Benoit is my favorite wrestler, right up, right before the point to where he killed his family. But it's a shame that that happened. But hands down, he was a great wrestler. I'm not promoting murder or anything like that, but Chris Benoit, as far as wrestling matches go, it was great. And when he won at WrestleMania 20, that is probably one of my favorite WrestleMania moments, when him and Eddie Guerrero are standing there with the belts. That was a cool moment. So that's my top 5 list. Thanks, Jason Relaxation, for posting that video. Good to see another fellow wrestling fan there. And if you do some more wrestling videos or talk about wrestling more, let me know. I'll definitely do a video response, because it's fun talking about that stuff. I love it like I love my retro gaming and all my other stuff. So have a good one, guys. Peace.